Good morning and welcome back to the Ram Report Morning Show. I'm your host Alejandro Mendoza, as always, bringing you the Hightstown Scoop. The United States vaccination goal has been surpassed quite early, allowing for states to ease their coronavirus restrictions. Here's Lara Pavlovic with more information.
The United States has met its vaccination goal nearly 40 days early, with 100 million doses of the coronavirus vaccine having been administered across the country. The original goal had been to meet this number by President Biden's 100th day in office, a goal which was once thought to be unlikely and out of reach.
What President Biden is going to be pushing us toward, but I think that we could realistically do another 100 million by the end of April, hopefully, or into early May.
Approximately 41 million people in the U.S. have been fully vaccinated, including 36% of all citizens aged 65 and older. This uptake in the amount of vaccinations has allowed for some safety and quarantine measures to be lifted. Governor Murphy announced last week that indoor capacity for nearly all businesses has been raised to 50%, and that quarantine time from travel out of state has been lowered from 14 to 10 days. I'm Lara Pavlovic for the Ram Report. Back to you.
Thank you, Laura. Hopefully, Phase 3 plans won't have to be altered if cases continue to rise. Obviously, this past year has been rough for many clubs at Hightstown High School. However, the robotics team, Mercury 1089, has finally made it back to the building to get some work done. Here's Parker Bennick with the story.
It's safe to say that Team Mercury 1089 is back at full swing here at Hightstown High School. Recently, they've begun meeting in person to make some adjustments to their robot. The robot, knock on wood, is the same one that was used in the very brief 2020 season. However, this time around there are new challenges to be completed. In stark contrast to the competitions that are typically packed full on regular seasons, this year's season features challenges that are meant to be done in a safe, socially distant manner from the comfort of the team's home schools. We asked Nihar, the one who will ultimately be controlling the robot, what sorts of obstacles knock on wood will need to overcome in this peculiar season.
This year our robots enrolled in 5 challenges. Some of them involved the robot picking up balls and shooting them at our target. Others involved the robot driving around a specific number of points to complete a path in the shortest amount of time possible.
Thank you, Nihar, and we here at the Ram Report hope that the season is successful. Especially me because, well, I'm a member of the team too, after all. I'm Parker Bennick with the Ram Report. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Parker. We're looking forward to seeing how this season goes for you. Another club you may want to know about is the HHS Chess Club. Here's Dylan Burke with the story.
On Tuesday, Hightstown High School hosted a chess tournament to determine who will be on the varsity team. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, chess meetings have been online and games have been played via Chess.
I feel like the chess club has benefited from having our meetings go fully virtual. And the reason why is one is convenience for the chess members. We're able to log in and log out whenever we want without having to worry about travel time. Also, we're using a platform which makes it convenient for us, and that's leadchess.org. Leadchess is a free platform that allows members to be part of our group and be part of our forum for discussions, where we're able to play games, hold tournaments, and it also allows us to use interactive tactics and puzzles that challenges each member at their ability. I still miss seeing people in person, and I think that I speak on behalf of the entire team when we say this, and the entire club, is that it was nice meeting in the library and just being able to talk with other people and just to manipulate the pieces on the board itself. I guess the bottom line is this year they're not. We were able to squeeze in the high school state tournament last year. And I think it was the weekend before we went into quarantine, or maybe 2 weekends before we went into quarantine. But this year, there's just no transportation. There's no, congregations of people to play chess. But hopefully next year, they will open up the New Jersey high school state tournament again. So looking forward to that.
The top 5 in the tournament get to be on the varsity team with 4 slots going to core team members and 1 sub. All of these players have worked really hard, and it will be exciting to see them compete in meets. I'm Tilak Patel for Ram Report. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Dylan. It's great to see that clubs are still thriving in this environment. And congratulations to our 2021 HHS Consumer Bowl team on another win, making 5 years in a row. The team will compete against schools from other counties in the regional competition in April. You've seen him review food. He's run through spring activities, and now he's branching out into film. Here's Josh Carmona giving the scoop on a hot new movie, Zack Snyder's Justice League movie.
If you've been paying attention to the superhero movie genre recently, you've probably heard of the recent release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, a director's cut of the 2017 film Justice League. Zack stepped down from creative control of the project before release due to the tragic loss of his daughter, handing the reins to Joss Whedon. The resulting film, Justice League, was a bit of a tonal mixed bag with odd pacing and a noticeable lack of depth. And with Zack returning to the project to deliver his true artistic vision, a 4-hour behemoth of a film, will these problems be remedied? And with a runtime that long, can I recommend watching it? I'm food reviewing champ and mild film buff Josh Carmona, here to give you my take. The first thing you'll notice that's different about this version of the film is that it's being delivered in a very odd aspect ratio of 4:3, which hasn't been standard in film for decades. Regardless of artistic intent, this choice just makes the film look clunky and out of date. The other thing you'll notice is that where the original was colorful and vibrant, in this version, Zack turned the saturation and brightness way down, making it difficult to make out details in the already dark frames. While these artistic changes are subjective and you may like them, to me the aspect ratio doesn't relate at all to the themes of the film, while the saturation and brightness changes trade your viewing experience for the dark and moody atmosphere that Zack wants so badly. And while this isn't an alteration, the CGI on the bodies of Cyborg and Steppenwolf especially just isn't up to par for a movie of this scale. One of the biggest problems with the original film was its pacing. The first half of the film is spent introducing a roster of characters you haven't met yet, and then from the halfway point on is essentially one big bloated action set piece. Unsurprisingly, making the film longer doesn't remedy this pacing issue. Now the film spends around 2.5 hours introducing the cast and setting up for the same, now extra bloated action set piece, then a 20-minute sequence that essentially makes no sense. The plot is full of nonsense, especially if you haven't been paying perfect attention to every single DC movie since Man of Steel. The film ultimately doesn't feel like it reaches anything like a satisfying conclusion. So if it's not the visuals and it isn't the plot, maybe the characters are where this film really shines. No. Despite the 2.5 hours I mentioned setting up the plot, no character building actually happens in this film. The closest anybody comes is Cyborg, but his arc ends up making no sense in the end anyways. People like Batman and Aquaman are just simplified to guys who like to punch, and this film's version of the Flash is meant to be charmingly awkward, but in reality is just annoying. And, well, the rest of the characters just act so generically you'd think they popped out of a Rice Krispies box. And the villains really aren't any better either. The problem with the villains is stated quite blatantly early in the movie. A terrorist essentially says, "We have no demands, we just want chaos."
We have no demands. We're just stalling the police while
And this is reflected onto the main villains of the film too. Tall CGI baddie and wide CGI baddie can have their motivations boiled down to, we want to conquer Earth because why not? It's just boring. Well, it wouldn't be fair not to mention a couple of things that I did like about this film. There were some moments that made me laugh, intentionally or not. Like this scene, where the Flash snatches a hot dog out of midair while saving a woman's life. And the new look of Jared Leto's Joker did have me cracking up. There are some enjoyable moments to be found here, but the bad severely outweighs the good. Obviously, I didn't like this film very much. If I were to rate it, I'd give it a 0 out of 5 possible Rams. All of the problems of the original film are here, plus some new ones, and it's double the runtime. COVID may have given us plenty of free time, but trust me, you're better off not spending it on this film. I'm Josh Carmona with the Ram Report. Back to you.
Thanks for your insight. Truly, the thoughtful words of a film buff. And with that, the episode of the Ram Report is concluded. Tune back after the break for another helping of the High Times Scoop. Stay safe and have a great spring break. And as always, have a ramtastic day.